what makes a successful photographer different from a struggling photographer? And there are some key points that really make the difference here. And Dad, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about these because I learned these key points from you. And these 4 things have been the backbone to the right target market for you throughout your photography business.
Well, thanks, Todd. Yeah, number 1 key point is that the most dangerous number in the photography business is the number 1. You don't ever want to depend entirely on just one thing, one type of marketing, one media, one particular style of thing that you do for something. One is a very, very dangerous number because if something happens to change that one, you could be in a lot of trouble. And then number 2 is that successful photographers force themselves to learn and do the things that the failures don't want to learn and do, and that has been the mainstay of my entire photographic career. I wish I could remember who it was that I first learned that from so that I could give him or her credit, but I can't remember. It's just part of my existence now, and that is so crucial. Is that when we go into business, we think to ourselves, oh, wow, now I'm in business for myself. Wow, I can do only the things that I want to do now. Oh, boy. And then we quickly start to realize, where are the clients? Where are the people? I don't have enough clients to earn a good living in this business. Now what do I do? And that's because we have to become enamored in marketing. And then, of course, number 3 is, now more than ever, it's vital that you create a huge demand for your limited supply, and you control the volume of work you do with the price. This is very important. It's absolutely key to my success. I learned that from the great speaker and marketing teacher Nido Qubein many, many years ago, and I'll never forget it. And then key point number 4 is you don't need to be famous to everyone, but you do need to be famous to your target market. And we are not Coca-Cola. We are not Pepsi. We're going to pick and choose a very particular market, target market, that we want to go after, and then we're going to focus very precisely on those people who we want to become famous to and with. And that's why you're going to be successful in your photography business. If you constantly, this is all based on the great Donald Jack, my wonderful mentor, who changed my life forever, who said, in order to be successful, you must be willing to send some people away. And it changed my life, I never thought of it in that way. In order to be successful, I have to be willing to send some people away? You're kidding. So who do I send away and who do I want? And that is the target market that we're going to be talking about today, who we want.
And the key to it, the key question you have to ask yourself when, thinking about your target market is, how can you hit a target if you're blindfolded? Trying to market your photography business without having a specific target market in mind is like literally trying to throw a dart at a target while you're blindfolded. The chances of your hitting that mark are nearly zero. In fact, if you're not careful, you might actually hurt someone. So we don't want to be that person blindly putting our marketing out there, hoping it hits the right target. And Tom, I know you also apply this in a massive way in your photography business.
You bet. As a matter of fact, when I do play darts, my nickname is Duck because people run in all directions. But we wouldn't travel from Bangor International Airport right across the river from where I live and get on an airplane without asking where it's going. So, in the same way, we wouldn't invest our time and efforts and money in marketing if we don't know what we're marketing to or who we're marketing to and why we're marketing. All those have to be answered. If we don't have a specific target, we just won't be successful. And so we have to ask, who we want to work with.
Okay, because the 4 steps necessary for effective photography marketing, first and foremost, is the right message. The message has to be correct. But this number 2, that's the one I want you to circle. To the right market. Not everybody in the world with a pulse is a good prospect for your photography. Not a chance. And we're going to talk a lot about that because the things we're talking about right now are what caused me to go from terrible failure to wonderful success in photography. And then, of course, it has to be delivered at the right time. Timing is a very important aspect of this. And then, of course, in an emotional way, because, again, we're going after warm, fuzzy people, people who are emotionally dominant And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today as well, is how important that emotion and the warm fuzzies and all those things are. So I guess what we could talk about, first of all, is how you want to analyze your existing sales and for the demographics. And this is really powerful stuff. No matter how many or how few clients you have worked with, these key points are really valuable, because look at the people who are already hiring you. Look at the results. Even if you've only photographed a few people, it's very, very valuable. What I did is I made a map. Well, let me get these couple points out first of all. You make a note of everything you know about your VIPs, and by VIPs we mean very important patrons. And then you also you look for referrals. And by the way, it's the same time, because these VIPs are very good for getting you referrals by recommending you. But we want to learn about who we're working with now and how is it going. So what I did is I made a map of the city and I plotted the address of my very best clients. Not only the best sales, which is important, but also the people I enjoyed working with the most. Where do they live in town? And it was absolutely stunning to me. It was like somebody hit me over the head with a brick. All of them, wham! Why didn't you realize this before this, Chuck? Look at this then. They were all clustered around a little area in Grand Rapids known as Cascade. And so right then and there I said, okay, I'm concentrating my marketing on that area. And I'm going to then find out more about these people. What else can I find out? And we're going to talk about that on this event.
I've done the same thing. I learned this from Chuck many years ago, and certain zip codes appear and certain areas appear. It's easier actually nowadays to do it with a spreadsheet or with computers, but I did this back in the handwritten days as well. And it's the same thing. There's a certain intrinsic value also to people that love and value what you do, and people who are willing to invest in it and have the discretionary income, and that all kind of comes together as you gather information about everybody, and you'll start to see them form. And the old 80-20 rule, 20% of the people that provide 80% of your income start to show up, and you can start figuring out how you're going to call them and encourage them and their friends, and stay away from the 80% that take so much of your time and only produce 20% of your income, and start to weed them out. And I mean that in a nice way.
Right. So the important thing to keep in mind here is obviously you have some data already. If you've photographed any people at all, look at the people that you photographed, and that is a great place to start when figuring out the demographics of your target market. Fantastic.
But be sure that you're looking at who were the great clients and who were the not so great clients. That's what we're looking for. We're going to split them into two groups, and then we're going to find out everything we can about the group that we enjoyed working with and who had excellent sales.